All right, what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, every good guy, 231 across the DFS industry. Sorry for the disheveled appearance. It's been a long day of work. Let's put it this way. Would wish I could just do DFS content full time, but real life exists, real work exists. Sometimes it sucks, but anyhow, enough of my personal BS. Gonna go over tomorrow's 2-game slate. Quick reminder: like, subscribe, comment. Let's just jump right into it. I am at home, so I have a screen share, so we can kind of go over lineups as we do it. Apologies in advance if you hear my phone ring and I pause because I have phone calls I have to take, and there's kids running around like crazy. So hopefully they don't hear too much. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Let me move within the room, close the damn door. All right. So let's start Morocco and Portugal. Portugal minus 143 favorite. They're going to be the biggest favorite on the slate because we got England and France, which is going to be pretty square at the end. Let's start with Portugal. Bruno Fernandes is going to be a lock. He's taking all the set pieces for them. Rafael Guerreiro will jump on a few, but it's mainly Bruno. He's in the midfield. There's actually a lot of plays. I almost said like there's not like too much depth, and that's a lie. Like there's actually good plays in the slate. Unlike today, where I thought you were deciding between like just bad, like inferior decisions up and down. But Bruno is a lock. I think Guerreiro is very strong. That's probably one of the best defenders on the slate. He and Delo both will be pretty attacking, whereas I think the English fullbacks, the French fullbacks, and to an extent, Morocco's will get him kind of be pinned back. I think Hakimi is very in play, but Masrouzi should probably get pinned back a little bit. So Delo and Guerreiro would stand out as the best like projection for fullbacks on the slate, but I don't necessarily know that they're required. But if you kind of go a balanced build, that would be the top guys to target up to. Ramos coming off a great game, all the hype. I don't think that Ronaldo's going to start over him, so I would expect him to be in. And João Felix, also getting a lot of hype because this is the João Felix that we always wanted. And that Atletico thought they were buying until Atletico broke him themselves. But both are very in play. The issue with them is Mbappe, who I think you're going to want, and Griezmann is just underpriced for his role, which is essentially a monopoly of French set pieces and being forward eligible. So I think it's hard to play Ramos or Felix in anything other than GPP. Like I can't imagine them in a cash optimal build. That being said, I think they're fine GPP plays. You could just stack the front three. If you did that on the last slate, you won all the monies. So Bruno, Ramos, Felix can go from there. The midfield's dead. Octavio, nice player, but it's not really taking sets. So he doesn't add a lot. Bernardo Silva doesn't do much at all either. So that's just kind of just the Portugal, and then Costa and goal, obviously fine. For Morocco, Ziyech is taking almost all set pieces. You might get an occasional Buffal set piece there. Hakimi could occasionally take one, but it's really been Ziyech. I think as the biggest dog on the slate, it's a little bit harder to get to him. I said that about Modric too, and I liked Modric, and Modric did great today. So if you think that Morocco can stay with Portugal, which I'll just say this, I think these odds are good. I thought this is what like Croatia and Brazil should have been. Then by the time today's in building, you start seeing Brazil minus 300, and that kind of sticks in your mind. But I think Ziyech is very in play. I have Foden ahead of Ziyech in the midfield. But if you said you think they're about even and Ziyech is cheaper, and I'm just going to go Ziyech, I think that is completely plausible. Buffal, I guess, is viable. But nobody I'm going after here. And then I mentioned Hakimi, but he's the most expensive fullback on the slate. I would prefer both Guerreiro and Delo over him. Nobody else sticks out. And that's really GPP, Buffal GPP. The midfield is just going to be very busy doing defensive work. England and France, I'm not hearing my kid come up, so I think I'm about to get wrecked. But let's just go over. I kind of already went over France. Griezmann and Mbappe, I think, are close to core plays for me. Mbappe, for sure. Just been the best player in the tournament, period. In a story that's better than Neymar, better than Messi, better than Kane, better than any name you could get. Mbappe has been the player of the World Cup. Hard to fade him here. I think that I don't think this is England's formation unless I missed the leaking formation. They've been back for the last 2 games, so that would kind of be surprising now going up against their tougher opponent if they revert to a formation they haven't played. But Southgate, if we would give Southgate any credit, it's that he does know defensive tactics. This to me, I hadn't looked at this before going. I would say if Trippier's on, I would actually probably have Ziyech in front of Foden. So let's just look to see if this is like the leaked lineup or anything like that. I will try to comment after the video is over and after it's posted if I find any sort of leaked lineup. I've been seeing the England ones come out the morning of. So I think there's a good shot that we might get it before lock. So just make sure you're looking around for that. So let's just stay in France, not go to England. But Griezmann and Mbappe, best floors. I'm really, really, really good floors up there with Bruno. Like both have probably double-digit floors here. Mbappe takes the occasional corner. It's mainly Griezmann. Dembele and Giroud are good pivots off of them. I don't think this is a game that you expect like many goals. Like this could be like a 1-1 go to penalties type of game. So and Dembele is likely the first attacking sub, and then right after would be Giroud, whereas Mbappe and Griezmann I think are going to play the whole game, no matter how long it goes. So that would be how I see France. I would not a Theo slate. I think he's going to get pinned back, especially get pinned back if they're playing wing backs. Trippier is a good attacker, and just hard. It's hard to get width. I think I overestimated Theo just because of the performance on the last game for France. The reality is we know France for years is those fullbacks get forward when they're just dominant in possession, but otherwise Deschamps is very, very defensive minded and they get pinned back, and that's okay with him. He will let Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, Giroud do the attacking work, which is probably a smart move. So Koundé, natural center back, can play right back. He's cheapish. I could see, falling on him, but he hasn't done really anything spectacular in this tournament. He's glorified center back. For England, this formation matters a ton. So if let's just say twofold. If we don't see Trippier and we see Foden is a top play. We'll take almost all set pieces. He's been taking over Luke Shaw. He's one of the better attackers that England has. It's crazy that Southgate wasn't playing with him and was starting Sterling over him. Sterling's back to the team, so that gives potential that they could really do something crazy and just not start Foden too. I can't imagine that situation, but Southgate could do it. Especially in this big of a game against the toughest opponent that they've played so far in the tournament. Like, he could just revert. And if he does revert to old things, this is kind of the formation. This 3-4-3 that he loves, whereas Kyle Walker is a right center back and has the pace. He's probably one of the only guys that's close to being able to pace Kylian Mbappe. So I could actually, the more I'm talking out loud, I could definitely see this being the formation. Trippier, I think, would be close. I'm saying as I'm going out loud, close. He and Guerrero and Delo, I would have like all on the same thing. Trippier will take set pieces. He would split with Foden. And if no Foden, then it would be a split with Luke Shaw. And he's very attack minded, but we've also seen Trippier for England kind of revert back to the Trippier like at Atletico Madrid and at like times at Tottenham, where he wasn't that friendly, not the Newcastle version that we absolutely love and that is like a lock on every Premier League DFS slate. So I think just watching the formation, I don't think I'm going to plan for Trippier. But I think I really just want to see the lineups in the morning and hope that the English lineup leaks. So that we have a better idea of what to do. If Trippier's in, Luke Shaw, if there's a 3-4-3, Luke Shaw's a lot more viable than he is in a back four with Foden in. Shaw hasn't been taking corners, so he wouldn't even be in my player pool. Harry King is cool or bust. Saka does not really have a floor. Great player, cool or bust. I would put them in GPP consideration. I don't think either one of them is going to get a big shot floor or anything here versus a really, really, really tough France team. So that's where I placed them. Guys like Bellingham, Rice, Tchouaméni, Rabiot, I think you can mix into like your GPP pools or could be last man in guys. But the higher they get in price, Bellingham and Rabiot, the harder they are to fit. Whereas like Tchouaméni's 4K, Rice is like 3,500. Good, obviously very, very, very good players. More defensive minded, but they could, definitely be part of anything there. So how I think you're building is Bruno right away. Then I really think it's just you plug Mbappe and Griezmann. I think there's just those floors and the upsides on all three of them are just like kind of too hard to pass up, and then rolling from there. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. With that, I'll say, see you.